Welcome to the Nightly Rant. I'm Mike.
And I'm Toria.
This is the show where we talk about the awful things that have happened in our day, the awesome things that have happened in our day,
and all the things in between.
Thanks for listening, and we truly hope you enjoy. Hey everyone, so for today's episode, we have a special throwback because something happened and we were unable to record an episode. And we want you to have an episode 5 days a week. So we hope you enjoy this special throwback episode that we have chosen for you. So I just witnessed the absolute funniest thing I've ever witnessed since we lived here.
If you'd have caught it on camera, that shit would go viral.
Yeah, I'd be making a lot of money off of one stupid video.
Oh my gosh.
Are you going to tell them or am I?
I think we should both tell them.
All right. So when I came home from the Servite High School soccer game, there was a rather weird, drugged out looking dude kind of cruising towards the gate.
And he'd also been there when I'd walked the dog like 20 minutes earlier. So I suggested we go back downstairs, see if creepy dude's still around, and maybe chase him away.
So we go downstairs. We look around. He's not there. Then I decide, well, maybe he's looking in cars and trying to break into cars. So I walk up, look around. Only place we didn't go was down. Look around, don't see him. So we're coming back.
And then we see this guy who's lived in the building for a while that I don't particularly like because of one interaction I had with him more than a year ago. And he's got his trash bag and he's swinging it back and forth, like really. Looks
just like a happy camper walking down there. And like I'll say, I don't really have issues with him. I'm just kind of on her team when it comes to that. And I just back her up because, I really don't have any history with the guy. So whatever. But what comes next is the funny part because then Toria says to the guy,
10 extra points if you can get it into the dumpster from there. And he's like standing on the curb, like 50 feet from the dumpster.
He's a good 25 feet away. And he says in a cocky manner, "That's easy." And
he takes a couple steps back. He winds up. He throws the bag. And almost as soon as it leaves his hand,
boom! Trash explodes everywhere.
There was trash everywhere. Everywhere. There is trash.
The bottom of the bag blew out.
Oh my god.
Trash went I don't even know where the bag went. I think the bag split and just went into pieces. And trash came out of the bottom. He had 10 cans in there from vegetables or whatever. And one of them just bounced and hit the wall by the dumpster and went clang.
So does he get his 10 points because one thing hit the dumpster?
No. He's got to go in the dumpster. You can't just hit the dumpster. We just proved that anyone can hit the dumpster. You have to put it in the dumpster. But it was hilarious. Like the dude, he saw cocky. And then he's trying to tell us that those aren't cheap bags either. They're not 99-cent store bags. Those are good bags, blah, 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 blah. He's going on and on and on about that.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, you don't have to convince me of that, dude. That's what makes it even funnier.
Yeah.
It is. Imagine if you have what are those? Tough bags, the hefty bags. Yeah, imagine if you got the hefty bag that's posted you can freaking stab it with a knife and it heals itself, basically. Imagine you have one of those bags down there and you're like, no problem, man. Because in your head, you're saying to yourself, I can hurl this thing so hard and the weight of the trash is going to pull it even further. It's going to go in the dumpster, no problem. And then you hurl it and it gets 2 inches from your hand and blows up in your face. The stupid hefty bag. And that's what happened to that poor guy. That bag just blew up in his face.
It's a good thing.
I don't think any of the trash hit him.
Garbage bag. It's a good thing it was a small bag.
But I don't think any of the trash hit him, but it could have.
I don't think so. I just hope no cars come in between when he left and when he went to get the broom.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing, though.
You know what? At least he went to get a broom to clean it up.
Oh, he had some courtesy.
Yeah. Unlike the rest of the people in this stupid building. Jesus.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, it's why we most of the time go to the laundromat, because we don't want to deal with that.
Because if I have one more altercation with laundry room people, I'm going to lose my shit and write a nasty sign. Oh, wait, that happened tonight.
Tell them about your sign, which made me laugh.
Well, not a tickle. I'll read you my sign. I will read you my sign. It says, on the front, "Dear laundry room users, please learn some courtesy. The washer takes 40 minutes to run. Get your shit out after that time. The dryer takes 1 hour. Get your shit out at that time. It's called courtesy. Learn some." And then, to add insult to injury, because I definitely know some dick is going to go and rip the sign down, it says on the back, "If you tore this down, you are what is wrong with society."
That was my favorite part.
I added it after your text that said somebody will just tear it down. And I was like, well, that person's a douche hat. And then I was like, well, I'm going to add some shit.
But was that the same laundry down there that was there?
Yes, that's the laundry I took out.
Oh
so
my God.
It was completely cold when I took it out of the dryer. Because I wasn't going to stand there for 45 minutes waiting for a dryer to empty.
Right.
Completely cold when I took it out of the dryer. My laundry has been done for an hour. So that's 2 hours. It's been sitting there for 2 hours since I took it out.
Yeah.
And it's still sitting there. Still. People leave their underwear just chilling in the laundry room. It's like pervert paradise down there right now.
I don't understand, though. Like, we have had this conversation before about courtesy with other issues. But, like, why would you just leave your laundry in the laundry room? But I can tell you that I've even seen something similar at the laundromat. I mean, a big reason why we started going to the laundromat together was because of this laundry room issue.
Right.
And quite honestly, when we first moved here, I used to have to do laundry either on weekends or at night.
And it's almost impossible to do it.
And it's almost impossible. So what I would do is I would just gather up a bunch of shit and take it to the laundromat that's down on Crescent and...
we went to the first time.
Yeah, over there. And that worked. But then we went to the new laundromat. And do you remember the guy with the bazillions of bags of clothes and like sorting the clothes out while he was doing it?
He was like rage sorting?
Yeah. And then turned out to be not a bad guy. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand it.
He was just really angry.
So that guy was like throwing stuff all over the place and completely taking over like 27 machines at one time in the laundromat. And that's the first time and think about how much money that is. 8 washing machines.
And he was like spraying it all with some weird sprayer. So we were like moving farther away from him because we thought bed bugs.
It was so weird. It was so weird. But he was the only time I've ever seen someone at the laundromat be kind of inconsiderate and just take up every machine.
Right. But here it happens every day.
Yeah.
Those people that live next to the elevator, they think they own every washing machine. They just go in there with their hordes and hordes of laundry because there's 12 of them living in that apartment and just take up every machine and then line up their baskets of additional laundry so that nobody can ever use a machine.
Yeah.
It's like 6 hours of the day you can't use the laundry room at all because they're in there and they do it at least once a week. I don't know how they afford to do that much laundry.
It's not even that. I don't understand just the mentality behind it all. But I mean, this is becoming, I'm noticing through the conversations that we've been having that there's a theme. The theme isn't really so much that people aren't, that a good chunk of people aren't very intelligent. The theme is that people are frustrating as hell.
Yeah. Because they only give a shit about themselves. They don't give a shit about anybody else.
Right. They care about one thing and one thing only.
Yep. You know what I care about? This super darn cute cat that hopped up on the couch and is now purring her little butt off at me.
Yeah, I can hear her over here.
And she's becoming Parker.
I can hear her over here. It's really cute.
Yeah.
But then like it's also like when, I mean, it's not very, very dissimilar to when we go to Costco and people are walking down an aisle in Costco together and it's like mom, dad, teenage daughter, teenage son.
And grandma.
Or mom, dad, grandma, and 8-year-old. And they're all 4 in a row, blocking the entire aisle, walking super slow, but never once giving that any consideration. Like never thinking, oh, gee, I'm blocking here. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Let me move out of your way.
Right? I can't even.
I just don't get it. And it becomes an expectation in society after a while that that's just how people are going to be. So that gets annoying as well. People blocking the aisles and not giving it any consideration at all that you might want to get by.
I know. At least walk so that there's at least a passable route of traffic for other people in the store.
And like I said, I honestly don't think it's done on purpose.
No, people are just inherently
I think
rude.
there's just zero consideration given to that fact.
I don't disagree with
Or
you
like
at all.
today when we were leaving that Fatburger parking lot and that black car was pulled all the way out. That was annoying as well. So like I was saying, I got back from the Servite soccer game. They won.
Did they?
Yeah.
Did they win by a landslide?
Not really. They played terrible.
Oh.
They won 2-0.
Wow.
Should have been a much bigger margin.
Was Coach disappointed?
We didn't stay to talk to Coach.
Oh.
He had homework to finish, so we zipped home. But
I see.
it was really cold out.
I don't doubt that. I was just downstairs for what was it, like 10 minutes walking the dog, and like 10 minutes before that getting the laundry. When I came upstairs and I was like, brrr.
Well, and I was looking at the weather in Vegas.
Yeah.
It's going to be low 60s as a high during the day and high 40s as a high during the night, as the low at nighttime.
You know what? The 40s doesn't bother me at night because at night at last year at least we were always inside somewhere or walking briskly.
Yeah.
So that's it. It is what it is. But when we're at the soccer games, it's going to be chilly. Last year I was so damn cold.
That's what Matt said when we were talking about the weather.
Yeah.
He said, at least we don't have... No, he said, what was the Sunday's game time? And Manny said, 3:30. He goes, good thing it's not 8. And he goes, oh no, that's the Saturday game. And Matt said, no, I mean 8 p.m. like last year. I froze my balls off out there.
That late game was awful last year.
Do you remember that was the one where the lady had the
crazy lady
propane?
punched her.
Well, no, but the lady had the propane tank with the heater on the top of it. Do you want to know how expensive those things are?
Like $500.
Not quite. I'm surprised you thought it was that high. I thought it'd be like, you got your propane tank, which is like $25, and you got to add like a head thing on it. Well, just the head thing alone is $100.
Holy hell. And that was the same game where that crazy lady came up and tried to punch
Alan's mom
in the head and then yelled at her something that I can't remember and then stormed away.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will make sure I tease her about that this year.
And it was freezing cold out there. I mean...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my Canadian butt got frostbite last year.
It was
when we were in
really
Vegas.
cold. So I think it's going to be pretty cold this year, too.
I'm going to wear my leggings underneath my other pants.
Yeah?
Yep.
You're going to tuck pretty girl away and carry her with you to stay warm?
No, she claws me too much. She's currently kneading on my inner thigh. And she has very sharp claws. Do you have any idea how much this hurts?
Yeah, I do. I've had her do that to me before.
But I like her, so I don't want her to go away because I feel like she's finally accepting me into her life.
Yeah.
And then the Yagda's over there getting a belly rub.
Yeah. The pets around here, they don't get treated very well at all.
Oh, they're very mistreated.
It's awful.
To be fair, Henry is the only guinea pig to get a pepper earlier.
Yeah. He was given special treatment because he was out of the cage. And he was talking to everybody.
Henry's my favorite guinea pig. Sorry, other guinea pigs.
They didn't hear you.
He really is the... I don't know Cookie very well, okay? Calm your face. But she seems pretty sweet, too. She seems to have the same temperament as Henry.
You know Teddy
she does.
Very well. He went down your shirt.
Guinea pig.
I forgot about that. That's funny.
And he also went into my sleeve.
Yeah.
He's a weird pig. But Henry, he like cuddles and he talks to you and he always appreciates the loves.
Yeah.
Henry. King of the pigs.
Well, Henry spent a good lot of time at the beginning of his life just sitting on my chest on a towel while I watched TV.
Yeah, he got a lot more one-on-one time with you than any of the other pigs ever got.
Yeah.
Because he was the only one.
Yep.
For a whole year almost.
And that's probably why he's so sweet.
Yeah, I think so. I think the little guys would be sweeter if they got more out time.
Yeah. I gotta try to... I have to focus on that more and try to make sure that they're...
Take them out.
That they're out. You do, but you're only here half the time.
They get taken out about once a week at this point.
Yeah, you need to come out more than that. We'll work on that. Especially now that we have so much work to do on our hands, and we're just right here anyway. Might as well let them out and have them roam around with us.
Yeah, why not?
All I know is if and when we get a new couch and they come out, they're going to have like their own special sheet that we put down on the couch.
Because if they pee on a new couch, we'll kill them. So
yes, I would not be happy with that.
Get
but
like a blanket that you don't use.
Yeah.
Or I could make them something finally. Like I keep saying, I'm going.
Yeah, where you could use the U-Haul blanket as a as the bottom.
Yeah, he's right. We could just use a U-Haul blanket.
Just use that way. If they pee, it will. It absorbs it. No big deal.
Yarp.
But look at him now. He's like dead to the world over there.
He's had a long day. Just sleeping and barfing.
But I think, as I was talking about before, when you come back to it, it's really that, bless you, it's really that people just don't think. It isn't that they're stupid. It isn't that they're angry, mean, nasty. It's just that they don't bother to give any consideration to what it is they're doing and how it affects other people. Like I told you, the nice couple, the older couple that's on the second floor, the really nice one, he was parked right in front of the upward ramp from the downstairs thing, just parked there to let her out.
I have to tell you something that's going to make you laugh.
See? Yellow was required.
I have to tell you something that's going to make you laugh. You're going to die.
Okay.
Okay. So you remember when you first moved in and the Crankosaurus, as we lovingly call her, was parked in your spot, and you left her a note, and she then crumpled up the note, threw it on the ground, and you had to call the tow truck, she called you an asshole, and that's all. That is what it is?
Yeah.
So I'm riding up in the elevator with her today, and she's complaining that somebody's parked in her spot, and she had to park on the street, and how it's bullshit that she had to park on the street when she has an assigned parking spot. And I'm just like, oh my god.
Well, but here's the thing.
Dying.
But here's the thing. If she has an assigned parking spot, why didn't she call the tow company and have them towed away?
She went on about how, well, she doesn't know if they're a new tenant, so she doesn't want to have them towed away, but she didn't leave them a note even. She'll leave them a note tomorrow if they're still there, and then she'll call the tow truck then if they don't leave.
Well, that sounds fair.
I think so, but I just thought it was hilarious because she'd done the exact same thing to you.
Yeah, and called me all kinds of names because of it.
Right? But yeah, I thought you'd think that little karma was funny.
Well, it is. I think it's funny because, what goes around comes around.
Yep. I'm happy that it happened to her finally.
But that's just funny stuff. I mean, people do things like, okay, something like that. If you were like in a spot, right? Like, let's say your spot is number 20. And you know that number 19 is vacant.
Right.
And you know the number 21 is not vacant. And you come home and there's a car in your spot. There's a very high possibility that somebody just made a mistake and meant to go into 19 but went into 20.
Right.
Okay? Very high possibility.
You did
of
that once, where you accidentally parked in that nice lady's spot and she just parked in yours.
Yes, it's a very high possibility of that happening. So what you should do is at least leave a note.
Be like, hey, this is my parking
spot. I'm really sorry, that you're parked in my spot. Could you please not park there? That's all. If you do that, you'll know whether it's done on purpose or not. Because my thing is, I can't imagine anyone, to tell you the truth, parking in a spot when they know that those are all assigned spots. Right. Parking there and not knowing for sure that that's your spot. How do you do that?
I feel like If you leave the note and they don't park there again, it was a simple mistake. But if you leave the note and they crumple it up and throw it off to the side, it was on purpose.
Yeah.
Just my thoughts.
And here's, okay, when you go back to that incident, here's what my take on it is. I happen to know for fact that that the manager at the time told her it was okay to park there because this apartment was vacant and it was assigned that spot.
Right.
And I think that the manager forgot to tell her that someone was moving in.
Right.
Because it happened real fast, if you remember. Like, I came on a Wednesday and I was sleeping here on Friday and moving in on Saturday.
Exactly.
I mean, like, it was bam, bam, bam.
Fast.
It was like when you moved that time. Pretty much.
Where I found the place on Wednesday and moved in on Saturday. Exactly.
Yeah, same kind of thing.
Exactly.
But I think that she, the one whose car was parked in there, thought somebody was BSing her, and because she was like, well, manager didn't tell me someone, moved in, and if they had moved in, she would have told me.
Right.
And so she thought it was BS and threw it on the ground. And then in her logic, now that I've gotten to know her a little bit better, and her logical way of thinking, the way she thinks and uses logic, I was an asshole because, I didn't bother to realize that she was a tenant who had been parking there for a while. But my logic was, dude, I left you a note. Dude, I wrote you a note saying, boom, this is my spot. Why didn't you call the manager yourself and say, hey, just checking on something. Someone told me I'm not allowed to park in this spot. Is that true?
She's nice enough, but she's a little crazy.
Yeah.
I like her much better now than I liked her in the beginning, though.
Well, she softened up a lot towards us, but I really think she is one of those people. And when you live in a building like this, something that I've really noticed, like where their mom is, the A, B, and C apartments have been the same people
right
for 15 years.
Right.
Okay. And the B and the C, I don't even know how long they've been there, but much longer than that. So let's say 20 years. Okay.
Okay.
The only apartment that used to change over a lot and hasn't seemed to change over that much recently is the last one, D. So when you're in a place like that, everybody knows everybody. They're friendly. They talk. Even if you don't like the person, you talk because you just know about, how's your dad doing? Your dad was in the hospital. How's he doing? How's your cousin? Because you hear things and you're close knit and you're friendly. But in a building this size where there's so much turnover, you almost have to be, unless you're like me where you talk to everybody, you almost have to be kind of reserved and not super friendly to people unless they've been here for a while. And then you can start to become a little more friendly because, oh, look, they're not going anywhere fast.
I guess.
Because if you notice, the same long-term people tend to stay. Then on occasion you add another person who winds up being a long-term person.
Right, but the same apartments seem to be vacant all of the time.
And I don't think, from what I've witnessed, I don't think that people even live through the whole entirety of their lease.
I don't think so either. I think that, who was it? Oh, that apartment that you come out of the elevator and that's their, living room wall straight ahead of you.
Yeah.
I think that those people weren't here for a year.
That apartment's changed 3 times in the last year. 3 times. I know this for fact.
So those people they were having the birthday party and then the kid tripped and made god-awful sounds and we kind of boogied away because we thought an ambulance was going to come. Those people, not even 6 months.
Mm-mm.
And then, I'm starting to learn where new people are living and who lives where, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, and that lady, do you remember the apartment where the lady used to feed the cats? And then she moved out?
Yeah.
The people that moved in after her weren't there for an entire year either.
No, they weren't.
Mm-mm.
And that's a good thing since they were the ones who used to let their dog poo out in the middle of the tree area and then just leave it there.
Yeah, they were the worst. I didn't appreciate those people at all.
I would have targeted them pretty soon if they stayed here. I'd have started picking up the poo and leaving it on their doorstep.
Yeah.
In a bag, of course.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
just
the
annoying.
shortest lease term you can get here is a year, right?
Yes, can't get any shorter than a year.
So that doesn't. Then the people are leaving in the middle of their lease.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
Because like I said, the long-term tenants here, and by long-term I mean those who stay a year or longer,
right,
seem to stay the same people.
Right.
Look at our hallway. Look at our hallway right here. Let's just go down our hallway. Us. Guy across the hall. People next door haven't lived in that apartment. Now they have for a year, but they haven't lived in that apartment only. They lived in the one on the left side at the end of the hall.
They lived
okay?
in the one at the end of the hall since before you moved in.
Yeah. So they're here. Then her across the hall from there. So there's 4 apartments.
For like 16 years,
there's 4 apartments. There's 4 apartments. Then even the people at the end of the hall on the right, they've been there
more than a year. People across the hall from them, they just moved in, and that apartment was vacant for a long time because think about it, they just moved in 2 months ago, and these people have lived next to us for a year, and they used to live in that apartment that was vacant. So that was vacant a good 10 months maybe. Yeah, I was gonna say at least.
And then the tattoo apartment, the tattoo family.
Yep.
They been here. Okay.
Then
them. Yep. Then next to them, those people have come and go a couple times. But that's it. All the way down there. All of those people are long-term people.
The guy at the end, the one that you said has come and go a few times, it was the same guy for the longest time, but the whole first year I lived here.
Yes. And then it changed over like 3 different times.
He talked to me once in the elevator because he's the one who took the light bulb out because it shone in his window.
Mm-hmm.
He said he was moving out because he couldn't take the elevator sound anymore. And it was so loud in his apartment.
Yeah.
So I don't blame him. Because you imagine if that other guy that lives behind the elevator was so upset with the noise that it was making that he had to put out of order signs on every floor and he was complaining to anybody who would listen that it was broken. Can you imagine how being right next to the elevator must have sounded? And you think about it, that's the bedroom wall that shares with the elevator.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you're dreaming about little fluffy sheep jumping over a fence.
Exactly. It's insane.
Yeah.
But, that's why I always thank my lucky stars, because I've told you this a million times.
Have the best spot.
We almost took the 2nd floor apartment overlooking the barbecue, but on the 2nd floor on the left side. So like next to the stairs as you walk up, right? Now, from a convenience standpoint, it would have been great because I know where she parked is right there, up the ramp. So you'd walk right down the ramp, up the stairs, and you're in your apartment. So from a convenience standpoint, it's right there. But dude, after living here and hearing what goes on, and when the trash, you know what you'd hear all the time? People throwing stuff in the trash dumpster. And when that guy did what he did and it exploded and went everywhere, you would have heard all the clang, clang, clang. You would have heard the laughter. You would have heard the discussions about it. You'd heard the people talking down by the barbecue pit. You'd smell the barbecue stuff while they're cooking. Constantly. Like, I am so thankful that I took this place and not that place.
Literally the only thing that's ever been annoying about this apartment has been the people who lived next door before these people.
Yes.
Yeah, Chuckles McGee doesn't make me
and
very
the
happy.
laughy person on the other day on Sunday.
I think it was a street person, though, because it hasn't happened again.
Yeah. The laughy person. That was bad.
I've heard Yelly Football Guy, though. He was yelling at the TV, the one that we were positive is the new downstairs person. Oh, I'm fine with that because it's during the day. Yeah. I haven't heard the laughing again.
Yeah.
I have no complaints that I haven't heard the laughing.
But I have to say, they've pretty much, most of the apartments here are stable and people are staying.
Like, I noticed 2 new sets of tenants are like a family just starting out, as in it's the couple and she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Very for 2 people.
Yeah, I hear you.
So, it seems to be more family and less ghetto lately.
Well, are you talking about the lady that lives in one of the townhouses on the end here?
No.
The pregnant one?
That must be another pregnant one.
Yeah, there's a pregnant one, but what's weird is she lives with her sister and her husband. And by that I mean her husband and then her sister. Not her sister's husband and her sister. Okay. And so there's 3 of them living in that apartment. What I found weird about that is if she's pregnant, I know that it's a 2-bedroom.
Well,
where is said baby gonna go?
In their bedroom for the first little while?
Maybe.
Guess that's what they're gonna have to do.
I didn't.
Maybe the sister's the nanny.
Could be.
Maybe,
I don't know.
He'll share with her.
It was interesting. It was interesting. Sister's a nice lady.
Yeah.
I've never met the pregnant lady, but the sister's a nice lady.
I saw the other pregnant lady tonight, and now know which apartment they live in.
It's creepy.
It's just interesting because, really, when you think about it, it really is fairly stable on this side. I mean, even the guy below us is the same guy that's been there for a long time. The one that calls him Killer.
Yeah.
Oh, the one that scared Yogi?
Chased him back up the stairs when he tried to run away. Yep.
Yeah, like it's funny. It is pretty stable, but it's that side that's not so stable.
It's the barbecue pit side that's not so stable.
And that's because, if you think about it, the only thing people in this side of the building truly have to deal with
is street noise.
As far as building issues,
yeah,
because that's not a building issue, that's just an outside issue. So yeah, that's true. Is those 6 apartments that overlook the swimming pool have to hear the swimming pool stuff during the summer? But you know what I think about that now? I used to think that was a really bad thing, and that would be why I wouldn't want to live on that side. But when I've noticed the pattern, the pool doesn't really get used all that much. It definitely doesn't get used early in the mornings, and it doesn't get used late at night. It's pretty quiet.
If it is being used early in the mornings, it's that guy that swims laps.
Right, but it's so quiet. And like people don't seem to have, I used to worry like people to have raging parties out there, and they don't really seem to do that. I mean, once in a while, but you'd be able to tolerate that.
Right.
You know? And you close your window and, you know, no one would care. But that's the thing about it. I think those 6 apartments are all 1 bedrooms, by the way. I don't think because I know the one at the end of the hall was a 1 bedroom.
And I know that hers is a 1 bedroom, which
yeah,
would mean
so
the ones below
that means all of them are 1 bedrooms. But it's because we're in a quiet part of the building where we don't get interference from people throwing their trash out, hobos looking through the trash, right. You know, people talking loudly at the barbecue pit, and that's why it turns over, because people can't stand it.
Yeah, that's not far-fetched at all. I see, that sounds pretty reasonable to me.
Yeah, it just makes sense to me, and it's what I've observed. I mean, like, you know.
But also scary people move in over there.
Well, you know, it's funny. When we were coming in tonight, the girl, so you know where the child abuser lady lived, right? And then there's the girl on this side, right? Well, she was sitting on the thing, she was talking to somebody, and she goes, "Oh no, he and his family moved out of here." And then she's saying something else, and she goes, "Nah, nothing could ever happen because his mom hated my guts." And then I heard her say, "Well, yeah, she hated my guts because she says that I'm the reason that he smokes." Didn't child abuser lady and her boyfriend smoke? Yeah. Anyway.
And they smoked more than just cigarettes.
Yeah. Anyway. Like that matters.
No, there was no judgment. It was just a...
Sure sounded judgy.
I'll punch you in the nose.
You were like, and they don't smoke just cigarettes. That sounds judgy.
They smoke more than just cigarettes.
That sounds judgy.
It wasn't.
Okay, well, it sounds judgy, so don't be judgy.
Take your judgment
Stop
and stick it up
before
your
a pretty
butthole.
girl comes and scratches you.
Wouldn't be the first time tonight.
I know, that's why I suggested it. Because you're used to it. But I think, think about it. And when you really consider this, okay, because it's still close enough to this side that there's not issues. Grandma and Grandpa moved out of that apartment. Yeah. The nice guy with the long hair with the little girl.
Yeah.
Does he have a wife that lives there too?
I don't know if it's a wife that is way older than him or his mother, but there's a woman that lives there with them.
Okay, but they're there, and they've been there for quite some time.
6 months.
Yeah, I mean, and they don't seem to be heading anywhere.
Grandma and Grandpa moved out at the beginning of the summer.
Yeah.
Well, middle of summer.
Long and short of it, though, is I think that when you're closer to this side, you stay. And come on, I'd be willing to bet that the only reason that the ground floor people don't move because of the elevator is because they have no way to get another place because there's too many of them living in there. And another apartment building would chase them away.
Yeah, when you have 6 kids living in one room, it's kind of a problem for most apartment buildings.
Yeah, it wouldn't work. And other than that, though, I know that the second floor person next to the elevator and the third floor person next to the elevator have turned over more than once.
Second floor person next to the elevator is the lady with the car patio.
Yeah. Yep. She's the most stable one that's been in that second floor.
Yeah.
Stable as in being there for a long period of time.
Yes.
And see, and then I would have to say that and it's all about being which area of the building you're at. Like where Deborah is. Nice and quiet and peaceful. It's
pretty stable over there too.
Nice and quiet and peaceful. Same people stay there.
The person because there's Deborah, 12 years.
Yeah, because there's no noise from other parts of the apartment building. It's the key. That is the key, I'm telling you. Being on our side of the building is the best side of the building. I guarantee you, after you moved here, if you had stayed in that apartment during the day, all day, you'd have been begging me to move somewhere else.
Yep.
I mean, like, that's what we would have been doing. But instead, because we made one good decision.
Nice comfy place.
And it's because of the fridge.
Yeah, it's really because of the appliances and the flooring. We liked the flooring in here better, and we liked the appliances because they were brand new. That was truly... And they were silver and not white.
Was the other one the light colored flooring?
Yeah.
That Deborah has?
Yeah. Even lighter than that. It's not even the wood panel type looking thing.
Ew.
Just like cheap ass, 1970s flooring. So, but I guess that's how I say, one little decision that you make changes the whole course of everything.
Yeah.
So I've been having a good time with all the podcasting that I've been doing, having to edit all those files. I'm having a good time with that, actually.
You're going to be a pro audio editor.
I'm getting better and better, and I'm learning tricks. But you want to know something really stupid?
What?
You know when I was telling you how, I have to shorten, I'll drop a song into Premiere, and I'll have to shorten it?
Yeah.
Well, if I right-click and I change the duration, and I paste in the time, it doesn't work because it's still linked to the length of time of the video clip. And so now it just goes like it's fast forwarding.
That's funny.
So you have to drag it. So I went online and I looked it up. And it tells you to shorten an audio clip, you have to drag the thing from the right to the left. So the moral of the story is, I think what I'm going to do, because there's an automation feature in Audacity, I think what I'm going to do is create an automated workflow. And I'm just going to drag and drop the song file into Audacity along with the time that I want it to be, how long I want it to be. And then Audacity will chop it for me and resave it. And then I'll put that into Adobe Premiere. And guess what? It'll be exactly the length of time of the clip.
How is that faster than just dragging it, though?
Because today I got a song that was 8 minutes long. Now I counted.
Oh.
It takes 10 seconds per 30 seconds to scroll because it goes, over and over and over.
I see.
You hit the end and then it pauses, and then you hit the end and then it pauses. It's ridiculous. And that's how it has to be done.
That's interesting.
Now, I know, when I used to use Pinnacle Studio,
yeah,
you'd find your spot, and what you could quite literally do was you could get it within 2 seconds, and then you could take the arrow with some headphones, and you could move it 1/10 of a second at a time, 1/10 of a second at a time, till you found the exact spot you wanted. Then you do Control-Alt-X, and it would cut that audio clip into 2 parts. And guess what you do? Click on that part, delete. Guess what? Now you're left with the beginning part. And then all you would do is fade that out.
Yeah.
If it was a harsh clip, you'd fade it out. If it wasn't a harsh clip, you'd leave it alone.
Makes sense.
And you know how you do the pan zoom thing, where you use that little tool and you start at the beginning, then you set it, then you pull it to the end, and then you set it. That's how they have the automated fade out, where it decides when to start to fade out based off the length of the audio. Then they have a manual fade out, where picture that same rectangular line that goes across, right? but in the middle of it is a line. That's normal volume. You can grab it at any point in the timeline, click on it, drop it down to lower the volume, drag it up to raise the volume. So like in an intro, music's coming in, boom, 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 loud music, loud music. Then you grab it and lower it because now the voiceover's coming in. Then when it's done, bring it back up to normal again, just like a TV show does. But the cool part is you could do your own manual fades. So if you wanted it to fade out really fast, you could just get to within a few seconds and just grab the ending line, drag it down to 0, and then it would just go woof, right off the cliff. So much easier to edit with. And I'm just shocked that when you ask online and people talk about video podcasts, right away they say, Adobe Premiere. It's either that or Final Cut Pro. Those are the programs that they recommend.
I don't feel like a lot of people are making little 10-second clips from whole entire songs, so it's probably not a huge life issue for most people.
Yeah, but it still seems like a silly, like there should be a way to clip the clip.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
And I figured out how to do it with video. Just can't do it with the audio portion of it.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that I find interesting about it is once you start dropping files into places, it expects a video file to be in this part every single time. It expects a still photograph to be in this spot every single time. And if you try to drop something else there, it'll tell you, the sequence settings have changed. Do you want to change them or keep them the same? Of course, if you keep them the same, it won't allow you to put the thing where you wanted to put it.
Of course.
But then I've been having this weird problem with my Audacity where you have a clip, right? And the way you align your clips is here's a clip up here and there's a clip down here. And as you're dragging it, you know how in graphics programs, like on Canva, when you're kind of at the center, a line will appear to show you, you're centered. And then if you're centered this way as well, a line will appear. Well, in Audacity, when you're trying to put one clip next to another,
right. So
you've got your intro and now you want to start the talking part right after the intro.
Right.
There's a yellow line that's supposed to appear there. Well, guess what? At the beginning of the music part of the intro, the yellow line shows up, but at the end it doesn't, and it used to. So I don't know what changed that made that happen. And I'm actually sincerely thinking about completely rebuilding the template because it's getting annoying enough that trying to get it to nudge over like a half a second, a couple milliseconds is becoming a giant pain that it would probably just behoove me to spend half an hour and rebuild the entire thing. But then if I do that, I might want to change our intro. I don't know. Maybe add music. Clown music.
I don't know how I feel about you changing our intro.
Clown music. You like our intro, do you?
I don't dislike our intro.
Nice.
And I might dislike something else.
Well, I'm going to have to figure out. The only part that's really screwing me up is how it has that sound blast?
Yeah.
That's the part that's messed up right now. I probably should just delete that and re-add it. Then I think the problem would go away.
Makes sense.
Anyway, I've rambled enough about technical issues, but that's just goes to show you how excited I am about learning all this stuff and having a good time. And I really think it's why I enjoy making those videos for you so much, because it's like Coach always says to the soccer players, the only way you get better is if you touch the ball every day. Touch the ball, touch the ball, touch the ball. Well, I kind of feel like the only way I'm going to really learn that program is if I touch the program a lot.
Right. That's very true. It's the easiest way to learn anything.
Because you're going to, yes, a lot of it is just do this, then 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 this. But then I got tricky on the one and I had it start out really small.
Right.
Then I had it go all the way up big. And then I had it drop back down to normal size, and it was easy to do once I knew how to do the first part. It was super easy to do. But I just feel like doing those little videos is really cool because it's getting me into the program almost every day, at least a couple times a week.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean,
that's why I was messing with audio intros today. Because most of my IamZoo.com content doesn't have intro or outro. And I don't really feel like it needs outro. right now.
Feel like it needs
But I do
intro.
feel it needs some kind of intro. And eventually, like, if I want to promote, like, if a specific show is doing really well and I want to promote offers that we have,
You'll need an outro.
then I'll need an outro to promote the offer, to the landing page. Anyway, that's me. I'm excited. I'm crazy about that kind of stuff.
You're
And you know that.
clearly excited.
And you know that I'm crazy like that. But see, that should make you happy. We had that talk, and
You're going all
it's
for it.
definitely what makes me happy. So it's what I'm trying to do,
Yep. I'll hear you.
At the same time, I'm entertaining other possibilities from a financial perspective, but
Yeah. No, you're doing really
thinking
well.
of it as short term rather than long term, Anyway, me and this sweet girl are going to say goodnight, I think.
Well,
Talking
good
about
night.
you, woman.
Well, good night. I thought you were talking about the cat.
No, I'm talking about you. You're that sweet woman. She's just a sweet kitty cat. Huh,
I
pretty
see.
girl. You good girl, huh, pretty girl.
Anyway.
You're
night
so
off.
lovey-dovey tonight, pretty girl. Hasta la bye-bye, peeps. Hey, this is Mike, and I just wanted to tell you that if you enjoyed the show, and I truly hope you did, you can subscribe on iTunes or Google Play and not miss a single episode. But if you happened to miss an episode and you didn't find it on Google Play or iTunes for some reason, you could go to our website, which is theNightlyRant.wordpress.com.